What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of What's Warhammer. I'm Ravi Johnson, the evil Thagoraki, Vermin Lord, Gracier, whatever, trying to get you into this hobby. And today, I'm going to talk about what game you should play. Now, I hear you. I know what you're saying. You, sir, have no right to tell me what game I should play. And that's true. I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to give you some tools to help you decide, okay? Going to be going over a few different topics, like the game, the rules, models, community, tournament scene, price, etc., all that good stuff. But first, I just wanted to put out the disclaimer again. This is just my opinion. This is just how I do it. It's not intended for people who know what they're doing or are already into the game and don't need my help. This is just for people who are having the trouble deciding themselves. And I've seen a lot of people. I just saw someone the other day asking what army they should play. So, that's coming in the future as well. So, first step that I usually do is I investigate stuff online. I go to the websites of the manufacturers, like gamesworkshop.com or, the War Machine, Horde's website, Infinity, Batman miniatures, like all these things. Anything I'm interested in, I go there first. I see if they have, and they usually do. They usually have like a demo video that explains the rules, and you can see the models and sort of investigate it at a shallower level. And they usually have like demonstrations that they go through the game, and they can be a little boring, frankly. But that's usually where I start because it gives me a good introduction to what the game's all about. And then from there, I usually go on to YouTube, and I usually watch battle reports. And they're a great way of just seeing the game from a variety of perspectives, helping you check out, again, at a shallower level, but, helping you check out the game in terms of more like the strategy that goes behind it. You can see what people are doing, the kinds of things, they do, whether it involves dice or whatnot, and you can see if, the models are painted, and how people are going about that. What the scenery looks like, the game board, everything. It's just a great way of seeing the game. And, it's a really easy way of doing it. And that's why it's step one. That's why it's usually the first thing that I do. There is a downside, of course. And I'm sorry, the bottom is cut off again. I'm going to figure out one of these days. Here, let's see if I can. Boom. Nailed it. Okay. Some games don't look as fun in the bat reps as they actually are. And now there's a line down my face, at least on my side. So what does that mean? Well, it comes from my own personal experience of when my friends were like, hey, you need to get into War Machine. It's so much better, blah, 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 blah. So I went on to this YouTube channel, and I won't say what it is because they were saying, this person does great battle reports. They're really, they're shot well and they're just really great. So I went on there and I watched it, and they are good battle reports, but for some reason the game just seemed super boring to me. And so I was, I had already committed to doing a demo at my local hobby store, and I was saying to the owner, it doesn't look good to me, but I'll come in. I said I'd come in for this demo, and, it's free, right? So why not? That was my phone, so I apologize. So I went down there and I ended up loving the game. So that's the next step, if you can, is to go down, play a demo. And I put this here at the top in this particular slide because a lot of people won't have access to a hobby store with the demo of a game that they're interested in. But it is the best way to learn a game. It's the best way to see whether it's for you because you get to play through the game, strategize yourself, get a full understanding of the rules, not just this shallow thing, because frankly, people can't really explain every single rule and what's going on in games, in battle reports. No one wants that unless it's like an introductory video. But again, anyway, so you can ask questions, they're way more fun, gets you in contact with the community, which is great. You can see if there is a community, and it is the best way to understand. There is a downside, of course, is that sometimes people can be kind of pushy, or you might just feel obligated because they've gone to all this trouble for you. That is not the case. Please do not think you have to buy anything just because someone did a demo for you. That's what they're there for, right? That's what, the shop is doing it to sell models. Yes, but you don't owe them anything. Basically they are trying to entice you. And most hobby stores, unless you're going to like a particular retailer, everyone knows what I'm thinking of when I say this, most places sell a variety of games. So most places aren't going to care which game you play. They want you to get into one of them, at least one of them, but they're not going to be like, oh, you should go with this game and no other. That's not usually the case. So even if you are in a retail store, you don't need to feel obligated. That's what they do, and there might be some other aspect that you're interested in anyway. So don't cave in, don't play or buy a game that you don't love, because that's crazy. And I don't really think that most places want you to do that anyway. Step 3 that I usually go through is, after looking at the game and seeing whether it's for me, play the demo. I played the demo for Hordes, and I really liked it. And I ended up getting into it because I did enjoy the demo, not the bat reps, right? Not the battle reports, I should say. So then I went about looking for an army to play. My friend lent me the book, and it talked about the lore and or what they call the fluff. And, and I went through the whole process of finding an army, which I'm going to do a separate video on. But, at the very basic level, you want to look at how they appear, their lore. For me, early on, when I first got back into wargaming, I didn't care that which game I played, but I really wanted to play Skaven because I just love them. I played them when I was a kid, and I love them even more now, if that's possible. Actually, if you don't believe me, there you go. What kind of weirdo would wear the t-shirt of an army that he does not love? So that's another aspect to consider. If you can't find an army you like, then you might want to consider another game. Possibly. It depends on where you're going to rate these things in terms of the importance for you. And for everyone, it's different. For me, it was super important to play it. It's arguably the most important thing, is to find an army I really like. Because the community, you can always, like in terms of people playing with you, you can usually make it work in any game. So it just might entail something else. But anyway, another aspect that's really important for a lot of people is the price. And, the thing I have at the top here is allows you to check on affordability, yes. But remember, there are different ways to play most of these games. You don't have to buy an entire army, to play. You can play, there's skirmish modes in most games, and you can play with a smaller army. You don't have to play like a tournament set with 2,000 points in Age of Sigmar, or 200 points, or whatever the standard is for War Machine, or whatever other game. Like, again, I'm not recommending any particular game. The whole idea is to just help you, but you have to budget for the long term, and remember, you can slow grow your army. So this is an important factor, of course. If you can't afford it, then you obviously you would need to find another way to play. But you can, you don't have to get the whole army in a couple of weeks. I definitely don't think you should. So slow grow, enjoy the process, but and don't think that the price is everything. I'm not saying it's not important. It is super important, but there are so many ways you can collect an army. You can do it used, you can do it new. There's eBay, there's all sorts of stuff. So anyway, also a very important step is the community. And now some people are probably thinking, why is this step 5? Again, this isn't really any particular order. This is how I do it. The community is not as important because you can find your own community. Like, I didn't know most of the people that I play with. Actually, I didn't know any of them, actually. So to me, that's not super important, because I went out and I found a community, through the hobby store. They had a bulletin board, through Facebook, which I was connected from the hobby store, and then through multiple different layers therein. But you might have friends that are already that are already playing war games, or you might want to consider the tournament scene. I just put this as a side note because I'm not really qualified to talk about the tournament scene, but it was a factor even for me, and I haven't even been to a tournament. But it was good to know that the biggest War Machine tournament in the world is like 2 hours from my house. So this is just one of the factors to think about when you're deciding on a game. You know, you might not consider the tournament scene at all. Most people probably don't, but it might be a factor for some people. And if it's something that you might be considered in, might consider an important part, then you should definitely look into where the tournaments are, etc. And finally, I have the art style and the lore. This is step 6. For some people, this is the most important thing. For some people, all they care about is the hobby aspect. But this is more about what game you should play, you know. So for most people, they're not just painting or they're not just playing. They're usually doing both aspects. So I have this under here as something to consider, and the lore is part of that. You know, one of the things that I loved about Skaven, because back in the day, the Skaven models looked. I don't want to, you know, be nasty about it, but they didn't look great. Okay, they did to me at the time, actually, because I was pretty young. But the art has always looked great. The lore has always been fantastic. They had these really dark sketches, you know, of these in black and white, actually, of these different Skaven characters and you know, paintings and stuff like that, and just got your imagination, you know, flowing. And when you're playing with you know, back in the day, these lead models that are really chunky, and they barely look like rats, or arguably didn't look like rats at all for Skaven. But when you think about them, they're not those things. They are what they are in the book that you were reading about that got your whole imagination stirred. So for a lot of people, this is super important. It was super important for me. I can say that much. So you know, it's something to consider and to look into. If you are big into the tournament scene and you want to play what's best, then this isn't gonna, you know, you're gonna be like, who cares, right? But for a lot of us, it is really important. You know, luckily, you know, I mean, all these steps that I'm telling you about, these are all things that I really think are important for me. So anyway, this is just one more of them. So, you know, and then I haven't played Malifaux. I've never played a demo game of Malifaux, but I was down at the store the other day and I saw some of the models, and wow, they have amazing looking models. I saw someone on the PMP painting something called like something Gumo, like Joro Gumo or something like that. You know, because Kumo means spider in Japanese, but that's neither here nor there. So it was this big spider creature with it was like a centurion with a spider body, and it looked amazing. And like, I've seen a bunch of them down at the local hobby store, and I'm considering Malifaux just because of the art style. That's how cool they look. But art style is very important to a lot of people, so it might be something you want to consider. But anyway, these are the basic steps. There might be more things. Let me know if I've missed anything that you think is really important. But remember, you can, you know, it can be difficult to go slow, but try and go slow. When you're deciding on an army, you might want to take the approach that a lot of people recommend for a tattoo, believe it or not, and that is to decide on it, keep it in your mind, think about it some more, even after you've decided. And if after X amount of time you still want to do it, you still want to buy the army, then you can start buying it. But, you know, a lot of us tend to grab a little bit here and a little bit there, and it's kind of a waste of money, you know, or it can be, depending on your outlook. So, you know, but have fun. Take your time. Enjoy the process, right? And thanks for watching. Please subscribe and like it if you liked it, and if you didn't, well, then you're dead to me. I'm just kidding. But, you know, then this video probably wasn't for you, but maybe it's for somebody else. And that's all I really want out of any of these videos, is if you could direct people who are having trouble making these decisions my way, because that's the whole idea of them, is to help people out. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.